Hello crafters and welcome to P2PCrafts Online, brought to you by From Picture to Page and Beyond Papercraft shows. Now I'm your host Michelle Brown, Creative Director from Picture to Page, which is our scrapbooking, mixed media art and paper crafting community. Now P2PCraft Online is bringing you over 30 demonstrations from our talented retailers and some special guest artists. So for all the details of the sessions, all the programs and all the links into supporting our wonderful retailers, head over to our website from picturetopageandbeyond.com.au where you can get all that information. And while you're there, make sure you're on our email list so we can send all the updates directly into your inbox. Now, firstly, we would love to thank our sponsors. So Uniquely Creative are really passionate about making fantastic embellishments, dies, stamping, and put them in fantastic kits with instructions, so it's everything that you need to create at home. And Darkroom Doors, who provide beautiful rubber stamps and stencils to our independent retailers as well as crafters across Australia and around the world. Now, whether you're watching here live on Facebook or you're watching a replay on Facebook or YouTube, we would love to know that you're there. So pop in the comments, just like Olivia and Azzy are doing, and so that we know that you're there. Any questions for us, pop them in there as well. And of course, give us a like, a thumbs up, give us a heart, and then at the end, share us with your crafty friends, because we want everyone to know about all the fantastic things we're doing here at the From Picture to Page online show. Now today, P2P Online is with Crafters Cupboard and Jennifer. Hello, Jennifer.
Hello, Michelle. How are you today?
We are good. And how are things in Crafters Cupboard today?
Very busy, and looking forward to spending a half an hour or so with you, showing you some lovely Paper Artsy products today.
Excellent. Now, if people haven't heard of Crafters Cupboard before, could you tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Well, we're a family business, so it's my husband Angus, myself and my daughter Olivia, and a little bit of support from the grandchildren. We've had Crafters Cupboard now for a little bit over 7 years, and probably our lead product would have to be Paper Artsy without doubt. We've got a huge range. We stock everything that they do, from their stamps and stencils, the paint, the infusions, powders, the flexi blocks, the grunge paste, anything Paper Artsy we can help you with. And what I love about their range is that they never, ever discontinue a stamp.
Oh, okay.
So you will always be able to get even the very first stamp that Paper Artsy ever produced. Now, they've recently just moved across to France from the UK. So that's been a huge upheaval for them. And we had a new release last night from Tracy Scott, who's one of their key designers. So normally we would already have all those stamps in stocks at release day, but there's a little bit of a hold up with the shipping. But we're expecting our shipment to be in the air in the next couple of days, and then we'll be able to satisfy the queue of people who've been emailing me all day saying, I want it all. So
I know.
apart from Paper Artsy, we also stock a lot of other mixed media brands, but we do try to have some of the brands that you don't find commonly everywhere else. So we have the Art by Marlene range, which is very popular. We stock Carabelle. We have a good selection of Scrap FX because we love to support local businesses here in Australia as well as abroad.
Excellent. And yeah, and Tracy Scott has just released her collection just overnight, and it is just delightful.
I know, absolutely beautiful. Really looking forward to getting my hands on it and having a play.
Excellent. So Jennifer, what are we going to play with today?
We're going to play with till tape. Now,
okay.
I'm sure everybody will be going, till tape? What's that got to do with mixed media? So I'm looking forward to showing people not only that it's a fun thing to do, but also some of the projects that you can then use it for. So a lot of people, when you talk about jelly printing, they're like, well, what do I do with my jelly prints when I've made them? So today I'm going to show you making till tapes, which are quick, easy and a lot of fun. But then it's also, what do you do with them once you've made them?
Excellent. Well, I will let you get ready and we'll jump right in.
Okay, thanks, Michelle.
Fantastic. So when Jennifer refers to till tape, she's talking to, the receipt tape that we get out of our thermal printers. And I think this is such a cool little project because it's one of those things where it's quite easy to do. It's something you get the kids involved in. And then sort of depending on what else you've got around the house, you can make it more sophisticated or simplify it. And then, of course, apply it to card making, to scrapbooking, and into your art journaling and mixed media as well, which, of course, are our favourite products that we can apply to all of those things. So hello, Michelle. Hi, Rosalind. Hi, Gayleen. Hi, Linda. Hi, Hermione. We've got some favourite names. Hi, Irene. We've got some favourite names, and we've got some other friends too. So we'll just give Jennifer a minute and then we'll be right back. Okay, we are ready to jump right in. So Jennifer, take it away.
Thanks very much, Michelle. So what we're going to be working with today is the awesome Paper Artsy paints. I've just put 4 bottles out so you can see how they look. They are the fresco chalk finish paints, and what is really unique about them is that you can do anything over the top of them. The surface, the matte finish, will take any kind of marker or pen or whatever, which is great because there are a lot of products out there that you can't write over the top of. They come in these nice handy little flick top bottles, and of course because they've just got that little hole, they never ever dry out, and a good shake, and they're ready to use every time. Fantastic range of colours, something like 160, 170 colours in the range now. So what we're going to do today is play with till tape, and I've just cut a piece of till tape here to show you. It's just, the till tapes that you get to put in FPOS machines and cash registers. You can pick them up at Officeworks. They don't cost a lot of money. And you can cut them to be as long as you want. So here's one I've already done. And as you can see, it's quite a long strip. And you just have fun slapping down the paint on it. And you can see I've used some nice bright colours here, which are very appealing to the eye. And then on top of that, I've just done random stamping. I've got another one here, which I've done using stencils. And I haven't done anything else with that one yet, apart from stenciling it, so you could have a look at it. This is exactly the same bit of till tape, but it's had some stamping put over the top. And you can see it completely changes the appearance of it straight away. So I thought I would show you, first of all, preparing the till tape, which you can do by putting the paint on with a paintbrush, or you can put it on using sponge, is the good old famous cosmetic sponge that everybody likes. I really enjoy using them because they're very easy to just tap your paint in, and you don't want massive areas of paint when you're doing this exercise. You just need little patches of it here and there, and then you join them all up. So I'm just spreading my paint out because using my cosmetic sponge, I'm just dabbing it on, using a sort of a pouncing motion, just picking different random patches all across the till tape. And I know some of you are probably sitting there already and thinking, what on earth are we going to do with a bit of painted till tape? But I'm going to save that little surprise for the end. And I'll give you some examples of the different things that I've done with it. So I just go all over. I'm not going to fill in all of this till tape, or we'd be sitting here for the next 20 minutes watching me dabble paint around. Now, it's always a good idea to use nice bright colours when you do this exercise, and also to use colours that you think are going to work together. You don't want too much paint, so I usually load a little bit up into the end of the sponge, pounce it in and out, and spread it around a little bit. If it looks like it's a little bit thin, because at the end of the day a till tape is pretty thin, you can always come back and pop a little bit more colour on later on at the end just to spread it out. But this shows you that even with the most thin of substrates, you can still do things with paint. And I find particularly these Paper Artsy paints, they go over everything. So you can even paint your outdoor pots with Paper Artsy paint, and it's weather resistant. Very eco-friendly as well, and easy to get off your hands at the end, because I don't know about you, Michelle, but I'm like a lot of crafters. I seem to make a mess of myself in the process.
Yes, I think sometimes when you know you've got more paint on yourself or glue on yourself than the project, it's time for a break.
Exactly. The best place for me to get a clean up's jump in the shower and it all peels off in there. Otherwise, you're standing at the kitchen sink scrubbing for half an hour. And of course, with mixing colours as well, you start putting a bit of pink with your blue and a bit of blue with your pink, and you're going to get a bit of purple appearing. Helps if you put the pink in. You know how you read those stories about people that put their paintbrush in their tea, their cups of tea? Well, I'm very good at putting the wrong coloured sponge in the wrong coloured paint.
So Jennifer, Tamara was just asking, is it the thermal tape you're using or just the straight paper tape?
This one I'm using, I would say, is thermal because it's got that glossy feel to it. I've also got a thinner one here. And can you see the difference? You might not see it in the camera, but that's very white and this is a bit creamier.
Yeah.
But what I find overall is the white comes out with a better result. The paint colours are just that little bit brighter when you're done. But if you have a look here, this is one done on the cream tape. And see how the colours look duller?
Oh, yep, no, your video had frozen. Yep, no, we're right now.
Yeah, I think someone was trying to phone me, that's why.
It could be.
But phone a friend always happens at the wrong time. So you can see those colours are a little bit dull compared to this one here, which is on the white background. But in the bigger scheme of things, that doesn't matter. This one here is done on a thinner tape. And because of the colours that they are, they're sort of oranges and pinks and yellows, it didn't matter that they were on the more creamy tape and they still worked well. But if you want a very bright look, I would recommend going with the white thermal tape rather than a sort of a cream one.
Right. Now, Margaret was just asking, what's the craft mat that you're working on, Jennifer?
It's something I've had for years. It does have measurements on the side, but I don't know where I got it. I may have even got it when we lived in the UK because it's just been in my craft room for years. It's a silicone. So I find it's great to do this sort of thing on because you don't need to worry about the paint going over the sides because you can just wipe it off so easily. So I'm sorry I can't help you by selling you one. If I could, I would.
I wonder if it was more of a pastry mat or a baking mat originally.
It might be. It well might be, actually, now you say that. I wouldn't be surprised if it was. We've even picked up, you know, the barbecue, those black barbecue mats that you could get the likes of Big W for using barbecue. I find those are quite good as craft mats too because they wipe down and they're cheap. But, of course, you can't beat the good old butcher's paper that I've got buried under this mat because that is a throwaway. So as you can see, I haven't been too pretty about this. I've just sort of slapped it down and hoped for the best. I'm not losing any sleep over it. And I've found that you can even heat gun it and it doesn't melt, which I thought it might not like the heat. But it's taking it okay. And the thing about Paper Artsy paint, I hope you can hear me over this noisy heat gun.
Yes, we can just hear you.
It does dry off very, very quickly anyway. So if we were here in the summer and 40 degrees, that would have already dried just about as I was popping it down on the paper. So for the likes of us impatient crafters who really can't be bothered sitting around waiting for something to dry, this paint's perfect.
Well, the consensus in the comment is that yes, it's probably a silicone baking mat and apparently Aldi have them on special at the moment.
Well, there you go.
Oh, they won't be there.
Right, so got my paint down. It's dry, or as good as dry. And from there, what I've done is taken a selection of small stamps. Now, Paper Artsy have these minis, so they're great to use. They're just little one-off stamps that you can choose different patterns in. Here's one here. Something like that. Very small designs, that's what you're looking for. But also, I've used a whole lot of Tracy Scott stamps. So our customers that know and love Paper Artsy know that you buy, generally most of their stamps come out in what we call a plate. So a plate is this size here when you buy it. I turn around and store my plates in the plastic cassette cases. We sell these if anybody's looking for them, but you can get a whole plate inside one of these cassette cases. So they don't take up a lot of storage room, and they stack nicely if you're putting them in something like a bookcase or loaded up in a drawer, because the more stamps you have, the more storage you need, and storage becomes a big issue. But in a lot of these plates, you'll find that there are small element stamps. I'm pointing to a few of them here. So I just went through a stack of half a dozen Paper Artsy stamps and pulled out all the little elements into a blank case. So they're just all laid out here so I can quickly see them and grab them while I'm working. And as well as that, I've got what we call Old Faithful. And I know Danny used this stamp in her demonstration yesterday. It's the Paper Artsy Eclectica ESN10, and it's got great stamps in it, but one of them is this nice long script stamp, which is just my go-to every time. And I put script stamps in a lot of my mixed media work because they just seem to give it a little bit of an extra something. So ESN10, you can see it's absolutely battered and worn to death, but a rubber stamp is a stamp for life. So it's still going strong for me. So I've got this little tray here of a whole bunch of the small element stamps that you'll get in a Paper Artsy plate. And then all I do is this. So pretty quick and easy to do. Bang a few around onto the next one. If you feel like a real little bit of variety as well, what you can do is grab a small stencil. Now, a lot of people look at a stencil and think that they have to use the whole stencil, but you don't. You can pick out little bits in the middle of the stencil. So I've just picked these ones. They're a Paper Artsy stencil. And what I do when I decide to do a bit of stenciling doing this exercise is just, again, using my cosmetic sponge, I'll just quickly pounce the stencil pattern through and use the same coloured paints that you put down in the first place, but put them on the contrasting colours. Okay. Make sure that your cosmetic sponge has got enough paint in so that you can get it coming through. You find when you use cosmetic sponges like this, they soak up the paint pretty well. And they hold a lot of paint too, so that you can spread it around. And it's just a very random, free thing to be doing. Not too much stress to it. And the main wash the paint off stamps. I wouldn't use paint directly on stamps. That was ink, archival ink, not paint. But the stencils, yes, I'm using the paint with the stencils. And some people say that you don't need to clean your stencils, and therefore if you go to some people's classes where they've used stencils, they're thick with history of paint. I know Dina Wakely, for example, she doesn't wash her stencils. but I'm a little bit anal, I suppose, so I will be washing mine after I've used them. So the objective here is just to fill it with stenciling or stamping, whatever you like. If you look at this one, that's stenciled, but then I've stamped over stencils there to get a different look. So I've got two different looks with that one. This one here is purely stamping on top of the paint. This one here that I've just done is a little bit of a mixture. So I might put a few more stamps on it just to break up the stenciling and also to introduce a little bit of black into it. But I'm going to leave a lot of that stenciling exposed as well. And that's pretty much it. My till tape is ready to do something with it. I have backed them in the past with a card. A little bit of navy card behind it. So here you can see how that immediately makes that till tape pop out.
Yeah, it does.
So I've made a card using these till tapes. You can't go wrong with a card, can you? So here I've just, with this one, I did a really long run of till tape. It was like way down the table, and I just went for broke like a production line. And then I cut it up into the lengths that I required and backed it with the navy card behind it so that you've got the strip either side. And then just cut out, stamped out a couple of the little Zinski characters from Paper Artsy and coloured them up with Copics in complementary colours, stuck them on the top, a sentiment out the side, job done. So that was great to quickly make up a card, and I'm planning to make a whole lot of these toppers on cards in advance going forwards. Then I just have to put my little whatever the focal point is going to be on the top at the last minute. I had some scraps left over and I did a little gift card to go with it. And then because I'm trying to be an eco person these days, I've stopped buying gift wrap because I discovered it's not recyclable. I don't know if anyone knows that. But because of the plastic coatings that a lot of gift wraps have on them, you can't actually recycle them. And so I thought, well, from now on, I'm going to do brown paper parcels because you can buy a roll of brown paper and, of course, it is recyclable. And I've used my till tape and I've used the backing on it as a jelly band around my gift. And then I can pop my little gift card on the top, and with the birthday card or the main card to match, that's a little gift for somebody that makes it look like you've gone to a lot of trouble to make it look attractive. Another thing that you can do with your till tape once you've decorated it is a scrapbook page.
Ah, that is beautiful.
So here's the till tape down here. Used a 12 by 12 piece of card that picked up one of the colours from the paintwork and the till tape. Just a little bit of torn up music, and there's a little bit of book page in the background. Bit of white Paper Artsy snowflake paint, you know, where you would use gesso. And this is a little Scrap FX silhouette leaf. And then I quickly painted a piece of card, just very, very rough and random. This is the leftovers from it. So you can see no effort in putting that paint down at all. It's just slap the paint down, not too fussy, stamp a flower stamp on it, fussy cut them out, and in they go. Now, to jazz all of this up, I have been using the Caran d'Ache Fluoro pencils. They come in 4 colours. They're thick and chunky. You've got beautiful fluoros here, and what I love about these pencils is that they will just lift the paint colours and give it a bit of pop. So if you're looking here at this pink, here's a bit of the pink that's had the fluoro colour put into it, and here's a bit that's dull, and you just a little bit of pencil going into it, and it just makes it pop off the page and give your project a little bit of extra oomph. So if you're doing paint colours that match these fluoro pencils, it's very easy to do that. So I can tell you that there's fluoro green in here, the yellow's in there just to make some of the yellow pop out. And of course you can see the spots of pink here and there where the fluoro pencil's done its job.
Yeah, it makes such a difference.
It makes a huge difference and it gives it real pop. I often do that stage on the till tape when I'm actually doing it. So here there's the fluoro orange pencils already in there, the fluoro pink and the fluoro green, and it just gives it that extra bit of oomph that you want it to have. So that was my scrapbook page using till tape. And then I've got an art journal page. And of course, art journaling is my favourite thing to do, I have to confess. And that's what we're known for at Crafters Cupboard, is art journaling. But we do also make cards and do scrapbooking pages and other things, but we like to bring mixed media into everything that we do. So you might say to me, looking at this, where is the till tape?
Yes, it looks well hidden.
I used, if you look at it, can you see? This is
yes.
the leftover of the till tape that went into this page.
Mm-hmm.
So I just ripped it, literally. I'll snip a bit off and show you how easy it was to rip it. Just rip it. And I ripped it into strips, roughly, no particular design or pattern to it. Take off the straight edges. And then if you have a look through here, you can see it.
Yeah, we can just see that stamping edge.
So just laid down, glued down with matte medium randomly.
Mm-hmm.
Then a little bit, same thing with an old dictionary page, a little bit of that randomly ripped and laid down next to it. And then I took the paint colours that I had used on the till tape and filled in all the gaps between the book page and the till tapes. So in the end, it was paint throughout and all the gaps, but my tape was still thrown through. More stamping to match the stamps that are in the till tape. So looking at the two side by side, you can see that it's there, but just merged with everything else. And this was a very quick art journal page to do because a lot of the work in the colour scheme was in the till tape, and it was just a matter of filling the gaps with the same paint colours, which was very quick.
Yeah.
And then I did a little bit of stenciling, as I showed you earlier, just quickly stenciled in various places where it was quite plain looking, where I didn't have book page or till tape showing through. And that was pretty much it, stamped over the top. And then I did my focal point. And of course, when you do a black and white focal point against colour, it always stands out. So that was a beautiful Paper Artsy butterfly stamp, which we have buried here. It's amazing, even when you're doing a quick demo, you can get yourself into a mess, can't you?
You certainly can.
So that's ETS 26, and it's a lovely big butterfly, and the quote, of course, if nothing changed, there would be no butterflies. So again, that's using your till tape in all these different ways. Now, other things that I have tried with the till tapes, archival inks, you know, that they come in many colours.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have an absolute ball with your archival inks on here, just your range of stamps. And I've used pretty much the same stamps, but using them in the archival ink so that you're going to get a whole lot of different colours. And that's just gone straight onto the white tape.
Right, so stamping straight onto the white tape.
Yep, using a variety of colours. And then I've used the Old Faithful script stamp in blank every now and then. Get out your Posca pens, and then you can do your mark making as well. which we all love to do.
Yeah,
It's
so it
all
can just
very
be so relaxing, just adding a few marks, doing a bit of stamping, and then having it ready for a project.
exactly, and you love a bit of colour. So even though I've done this, I've also used the Paper Artsy gold paint and done a whole lot of gold splatter through it as well. You can't go wrong with your gold splatter.
No.
This tape here, another look again. Oh, and up the sides, of course, that's just using your black Posca pen to do a stitched effect down each side. This one here was watercolour. So did this on the narrower, more creamy coloured tape, not the thermal one. And I just did splashes of watercolour in 2 different colours through it, but left white space as well. And then took some of the older Paper Artsy stamps, and they were postmarks and little old-fashioned male characters, and just randomly stamped that through as well. And I thought you could do something like that for a bloke's present, you know, doing the belly band for his gift wrap, and for doing a belly band on his birthday card, a matching belly band, because you don't have to do pretty girly colours. You can make them look a little bit more, you know, masculine. So here I was using some of the minis, you know, with numbers and odd-shaped letters and sort of more dull colours, which I think, you know, the guys are a little bit more inclined to be excited about than the brighter colours. So that's what you can do with twill tapes, Michelle.
Excellent. Now, we've had quite a few questions about where they can be found. So a lot of people are popping in the comments saying Officeworks or a few places. So that's good.
Absolutely, Officeworks. That's where all the business people go to buy their twill tapes for their thermal printers, for FMOS machines and cash registers and the like. So, of course, you can only buy online at Officeworks at the moment, but go online and order yourself some and start having a lot of fun. Not a greatly messy project, something that's small and you can just do them wherever. When you've done and it's all dry, I just roll mine up like that and pop a rubber band around them.
Yeah, ready to
Easy
go.
to store. You can just make these whenever you're in the mood. So I liken it to having a session of jelly printing.
Yeah.
Have a session of making twill tapes, and then you've got them on hand, and then the sky's the limit what you do with them, whether you use them in a card, a gift card, a belly band for a gift wrap, an art journal page, a scrapbook page. You can use them in everything.
Yeah.
And they're fun to do.
Excellent. Okay, well, Jennifer, we'll let you get your camera turned around and then we'll have a chat.
Okay.
Excellent. So yes, if you do go back and watch the replay, you will see that Jennifer applied the paint with a sponge, and yes, she applied it straight onto the till tape. Now, whether it was plain paper or the thermo paper, which is similar to the one I've got here, so this is for our big thermal printer for our mixed media art store, and that's just what she was using. So that is what it's till tape or register tape or cash register. So hopefully you shall be able to find it. So Jennifer, thank you so much for sharing us with that today. I think it's really given some people some great ideas about different things they can do with it.
Yes, and you don't have to put the paint on with a cosmetic sponge. You can just put it on with a paintbrush if you want to. Just whatever suits you. I did it with a cosmetic sponge because I find that gives me greater control when I just want small patches of paint so that I've got lots of colour very close together.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So yeah, we've got another few comments. So we'll let you go back and answer those perhaps when we finish the session about paint colours, about stencil types and all sorts of different questions. So we'll let you go back and answer those. So fantastic. So where is the best place for us to find Crafters Cupboard?
Online at www.crafterscupboard.com.au. You'll find us on Facebook as well. Our website has got thousands of products on there and, of course, all the popular things that I've been talking about today.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Well, Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us, and I think we're all ready to go and splash some paint around and make some till tapes.
Excellent. Thanks very
Great.
much, Michelle.
Thanks so much. Well, we hope you did enjoy that. And like I said, I just think that's such a great little project. You could get the kids involved. You could really make it sort of as messy or as tidy as you need it to be. And that's what we love about mixed media. It's easy to adapt. So if we're trying to fit in different themes or match different backgrounds, it just makes it so easy. So thank you so much for coming and joining us at Crafters Cupboard. Continue to pop in the comments. We'll get Jennifer, Danny and Olivia to answer all those questions. And the Crafters Cupboard link is in the show notes for this video. So go and visit them. Look at the fantastic range of Paper Artsy stamps, papers, stencils, paints, and all sorts of things. So thank you so much for your comments. Continue to like us, continue to leave messages and share us with your crafty friends. And we'll see you soon. So this is Michelle signing off. We hope you have a crafty day.